the computer will allow me.
No.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Discussing Tabletop. It's June 11th, 2022. We're almost halfway done 2022. Wow.
Jeez, I don't want to think about that.
It's the important thing that, like, it comes to mind as soon as I, like, say this stuff about the show. It's like, God, time fleeing.
It's 2 months until I'm old again.
I've always been old. I got old, like, in my 20s.
I will become older in 2 months.
Yeah. So, we got an interesting docket today. A lot of topics.
It's a long one.
Yeah.
There's two on here I dread.
Well, there's a lot of dread in this docket, and there's some good things too. But let's start with throwing it up in chat in this first link here, which is we get to enjoy Vecna. It's technically D&D Beyond, which is now D&D proper.
Yeah.
They have a online thing for Vecna, which, if you are a member from the 9th to 16th, you get it for free. Which, they have a CR26 stat block for him.
Like, I mean, it's the thing with Vecna. He's not been in 5th edition at all until now. It's just the eye and the hand have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, this is one of two things. One, Vecna's popular right now because Stranger Things. Or two, it's Critical Role because Vecna was in that.
Could be both, honestly.
Could be both. Or someone was like, let's just have Vecna. Because, I mean, they're a villain. From Greyhawk.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, from the world of Greyhawk. So, I mean, like...
Hey, here's Vecna, but we're not doing anything else in Greyhawk.
I mean, they mention it in his Who is Vecna? A Masking Empire on the world of Greyhawk. And then
maybe they're gearing up for a Greyhawk.
And turned his gaze to the multiverse. Well, the thing is, because Spelljammer is multiversal, we might get a little bit of Greyhawk that way. Just incidentally, And
technically,
yeah,
I technically have an account. I'm just gonna claim this Vecna stuff.
And isn't he also like a deity in like 3rd edition and just like walked it back or something to him seeking it?
I think he was Vecna 3rd. Was Vecna a deity? I don't remember. I know every plane hates Vecna for, good reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vecna was a deity.
Yeah.
Evil, knowledge, magic, and madness.
He's a lesser deity in 5e in Forgotten Realms. Because, he became planar then. Yeah, still lesser deity over there. 3rd edition. I think he's also just lesser deity.
Honestly, I'm reading this. I figured it'd be a little stronger. But I suppose... it's like... The thing is, by the time you fight this one, you're a god-level adventurer. It's CR26. 8d8 plus 60 necrotic damage on a failed save. 8d8 necrotic and frightened for 1 minute. Those aren't that strong at that point.
I think it's the fact that higher power 5e is slugfesty.
I know why he feels weaker, because of the way they've done magic.
Oh, yeah.
In the new stuff, he doesn't have a billion spells.
Oh, so he sucks.
His spells were instead made just abilities he can do, which is weird. I don't like that change that much.
I despise that change.
It's a weird one to me.
I'm side note there. Certain creatures it works with because they have spell-like abilities. Others that they're actually spellcasters, it doesn't.
Yeah, because Vecna's a lich, which is a wizard, usually. They can be bards, too. There are bard liches.
And cleric liches, too. But
those ones are rare.
Yeah, but spellcaster liches in general.
At will, Vecna has Animate Dead, obviously. Detect Magic, Dispel Magic, Fly, Lightning Bolt, Mage Hand, and Prestidigitation. Why Vecna needs Prestidigitation? I don't know. 2 times a day each as an action. Dimension Door, Invisibility Scrying. Makes sense. 1 day each. Dominate Monster, Globe of Invisibility, and Plane Shift. Self only. No real damage spells. All the damage is condensed down to 3 attack abilities.
I feel
which
like
I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, I feel like this direction has made it worse.
It's
for like high-end.
like
They made it better for intro for people, but they screwed high-end gameplay even more than it already was.
Yeah, like it's this changed. Also, kind of screws over. Sorry, my throat. Kind of screws over playing a wizard because mages drop spell books, but these spell books are so empty now. There's no point in taking them.
Yeah. You know, it's another one of those things that was always important about wizards is that they could copy from spell books. If you don't have that, then what's the point?
Because I played a wizard in 5th edition. I only thought about this recently. Why the spellbook I picked up didn't have that many spells? It's because spellcasters were changed as monsters, and that's why that spellbook only had like 5 spells.
It just reinforces certain classes' strength and weakens other ones. Like again,
Yeah,
like wizards. Yeah.
It takes the fun out of wizard of being like a lot of spells, because you can also just use someone else's spellbook if you have it. You don't have to copy them. And I like, as a wizard, I've done this before, will have multiple spellbooks on my character.
I mean, like, I gotta say, in Pathfinder, I've done wizard stuff too, and like, you run out of space in a single spellbook, you get multiple spellbooks, because they're like, in Pathfinder, they're like, it's a set number of pages. This is what each spell takes up.
Yeah,
it's
like 100 pages or something.
Yeah, so you have to have, like, by the time you're like a 20th level wizard, you probably have like 5 or 6 spell books that you have to like brawl out. You know,
I had my one Arcanist in Carrion Crown. She had 2 spell books because I had a lot of spells.
It's I don't know. It's in some ways I feel like it's the too simplicity and it hurts stuff, and in this case it's hurting Vecna as a big bad. I feel like he's less of a big bad when you want him to be this big bad evil guy.
Because like damage is whatever. That's not the fun of having a high level caster monster. The fun is the spells.
Yeah, because they have a variety of stuff that causes issues for you and can, like, you know,
they've got weird shit.
Manipulate the battlefield, basically.
That's weird.
I mean, it's neat that they're doing something like this. It's unusual that they're taking a step back and giving him stats from pre-godhood, which is weird. But again, like...
Well, it makes sense in the context of 5th edition, because in between 3rd edition and 4th edition, the universe blew up.
I forget shit like that. Because they do stupid plans like that.
Because the spell plague happened, and then, like, a bunch of gods died or lost godhood.
Yeah. But the spell plague only really affected Faerun. Really
only affected Toril. They hint that it did stuff in other planes. They've never said it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's why Dragonborn are on Toril, is they got dragged there because of the spell plague.
Mm-hmm.
It's why the Feywild is so close to Toril now.
I mean, like,
really only affected Forgotten Realms, because, like, that's the only setting they care about.
Yeah.
And they don't even care about it that much, they just care about Faerun.
They really just care about Faerun.
Everyone loves the Swords Coast.
Let's move on. I'm getting sadder and sadder about things, and I want to have something that's... I don't know. They're bringing Abomination Vaults, which they're now doing the compiled book to, also to 5e.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Paizo's doing a 5e version of Abomination Vaults. as they're doing the compilation, they're doing a 5e conversion at the same time.
I mean, that's cool. There's a Kingmaker one too.
I don't know. There might have been.
It's not the first time we've adapted our campaign to 5e rules. There's a Kingmaker one.
I've never seen the Kingmaker one. I missed it. Wow.
It covers the monsters and NPCs. Okay,
yeah, I get that. Kingmaker 1 is just like the bestiary stuff, which is
important.
Yeah,
it's just the bestiary.
But this is going to be the complete Abomination Vaults in a single... See, the thing is, I partially like this because it's friendly, but it also might snipe people from freaking
like
2nd edition.
I'm not against it because it's a smart business decision. First off, you're selling a product for another system, because Wizards lets you do that as long as you don't use any of the copyrighted names and stuff.
Yeah,
because they have the D20 system that you can use.
Yeah, so they're going to use their own copyrighted stuff, and then they can just put it out there, and people can try to basically be like, oh, this is neat. I honestly would like to see this book, maybe not to run it, but I would really like to compare it to the original. Like, get the compilation of this one and just see how they've changed it. Because I'm curious on that one. Because I've made, back in the day, I made an attempt to adapt my own written adventure to 5th edition. That's why Madness of the Land was... one of the reasons it had a lot of issues was it was adapted from original Pathfinder, which is how I wrote it when I was originally writing it. So... again, it's a curiosity. And it's neat. Abomination Vault is probably one of the easier ones to do it, as it is like a...
Yeah, it's like a dungeon
Yeah, it's
crawl.
a dungeon crawl. Yeah. So... This is
it's like I'm for stuff like this.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty cool. It lets people who don't play Pathfinder experience the insanity that is the world of Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the world of Galarian is honestly has become more of my favorite as we go along.
It's got everything you could ever want. It somewhere, if you want it, it exists.
Yeah, I added in kaiju in my Breakfast of Evil in Oath. There is actual kaiju in Pathfinder. There is their own version of a Godzilla that I can pull out, a Mogura or something I can be like
there's a country that is just France in perpetual revolution.
Yes. And apparently you could dimension hop to
You can go to Earth and kill Rasputin.
You kill Rasputin. Yep.
That adventure path is so normal up to that point, and then it just takes a sharp left turn.
But does that mean then, because Faerun is connected to Earth, that you could get from Galarian to Faerun if you really wanted to?
Theoretically, you could.
If you're going open source dimensional hopping, yeah. But no, honestly, I'd like to see how they adapt some of their creatures that they have for the book into IV.
I have run an adapted Pathfinder, at least a portion of one.
Mm-hmm.
And I've run an adapted version of Carrion Crown for 5th edition. It was just Harrowstone, but it was because I had all the way up to the werewolf one. I didn't want to deal with werewolves.
Yeah,
because the story was vampire related, not werewolf related. But it worked pretty well because really, all you have to do is more or less fix the monsters, change the DCs. They're basically the same.
Yeah.
For 1st edition Pathfinder. 2nd edition gets a little weirder because it's a completely different system.
2nd edition has much different scaling.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that was when I saw that I was just like, it was such an interesting thing to see that they're doing, and I'm all for stuff like this. It's like I think one of the things I'll say is Wizards would never do anything like this.
No, Wizards absolutely would not make something for Paizo. Paizo's systems, they would not.
Wizards does so little to, like... I think it's sort of like this weird thing that, like, they have the good graces of they made something pretty decent, and they're living on that coattails.
Yeah, they're, like, complacent.
Yeah, they're just too complacent with a lot of shit. So I'm like, I don't know. I worry that, like, you know, it's that weird complacency that, like, you know, their improvements just make things worse 99% of the time lately.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been a fan of most of the changes, but it's just me.
Yeah.
Personally. I like some of them. I've come around on the, like, the freeing up the +1 and +2. I've come around on that one in certain circumstances.
Oh, I could agree there's circumstantially places.
Like, if I'm running a game where everyone has to be the same race, I'll let you do that, because you could have a more diverse party.
Oh, yeah. There are definitely situations where having that as an option aren't bad.
Or, like, if someone wants to play an Orc Wizard, I'll let them switch one of them to Untitled.
Yeah. It's sort of like there's a standard that you can build around, and then there's things you can do for exceptions, you know. And
my issue with those rules is they were optional, and now they're not.
See, that's the thing is, if they were optional and they actually treated them like it's an optional, then I probably would have been okay with it.
Oh yeah, anytime Wizard says it's an optional rule, I don't believe them anymore. Because they've already made an optional rule permanent one.
They've done it a lot. Hey, feats, they're optional. Oh wait, we make a lot of them and they're really helpful and make things better.
The new UAs focus so much on feats, I feel like they're not going to be optional anymore in the books. I think they're just going to make them required now.
Yep. Let's talk about something that's not Wizards or Paizo, though. Let's talk about we got a thing on GameFound here, which is Kickstarter but gamey. It's Vermin 2047.
Rats.
Yeah. Well, not just rats, also like cockroaches and stuff too. But it's the idea that it's a this originally was like a French role-playing game that seems to be getting it's a studio behind most these French-related role-playing games, and they're Studio Agate. And it's a post-apocalyptic game where it's about epidemics, riots, civil wars, natural disaster, in a world where insects and rats have replaced humans at the top of the food chain. So, rats. I don't know why. Probably they became giant or mutant or something, I'm assuming. You know, the usual. Yeah.
I'm fine with the rats one. However, I hate insects.
They do display a bunch of centipedes on here.
I hate centipedes the most.
Giant centipedes would be a horrible, terrifying thing. I'm going to be honest.
Centipedes are just disgusting.
They are... They have their uses, honestly.
Yeah, they can do their uses away from me.
It's sort of like... There's a difference between a centipede and a spider, like, you know, and, like, yes, centipedes, especially like the house centipede, they feed on spiders. So they keep your spider population down. But then you have to worry about your centipede's population, and you don't, and you're like, what the fuck eats those? I don't know, mice, which we murder the shit out of.
Yeah.
So, you know, we break the food chain in a lot of ways in our household. But yes, there are, I mean, like, just the fact that they, like, you know, those giant ones, like, paralyze things and then chew them while they're still alive to death, you know? At very least, you know, a spider will inject you with some poison that'll just digest you from the inside where you die, and you're not, like, being chewed along. And you probably, like, you know, the poison probably paralyzes you so you don't know you're dying until you're dead. You don't get chewed to death. Both are pretty horrible, actually. I gotta be honest. Giant vermin are pretty terrifying.
Like, no, it's horrific. There's a reason giant spiders is a horror genre. Yeah. It's horrific.
Yeah, it's a very horrible, horrible way to die, honestly, you know. You have to you think about, like, what these creatures do to their prey, and, you know, the idea that, like, oh yeah, a wolf, it'll, like, choke you to death, you know, or maul
fucking, like, D&D would be a horrible place to live because there's just people-sized spiders.
Oh yeah, not all venoms remove your sense of feeling. Good fact for their life.
Yeah, it's also true. Yeah, like there's just in D&D, there's just giant spiders, giant centipedes. Fuck that. Giant mosquitoes? No, I don't want to live there.
Horrible tick swarms. Actually, just swarms of ticks would be horrific.
It's just like, I know, like it's just horrible.
Like, as much as we like to talk about like a lot of the weird monsters, just the normal stuff is
the
kind of horrible.
day-to-day shit is disturbing.
Yeah. I'm sorry, like even like a dire rat is like a really horrible thing.
That's a dog-sized rat.
Yeah, you're like, holy fuck, it's a dog-sized rat. And that's like a normal monster. You're like, oh, it's just another dire rat. Just kick it out of the way. Oh. And rat swarms are a thing that happen.
Yeah, it's like awful.
It's like
how anyone, like, these people are traumatized, obviously, if they like living there.
I mean, they don't know anything better. They just don't know anything better. I think that's the issue. So yeah, it's an interesting idea, because, like, certainly there have been, like, horror genres or movies where, like, vermin take over the world or something, or, like, but there's, like, most of those are, like, very, like, modern, like, it's soon after the end of the world kind of thing, they're right around that.
Or, like, during.
Yeah, this is like it feels like it's years afterwards, it's like, the giant, horrible vermin have controlled the world now, and it's just, like, people are, like, getting by, but still fucking fighting with each other after what's little to recover, sounds like, which is kind of awful on the side.
That's just humanity.
I guess it is humanity. So, I mean, interesting enough of a system. It is funded. It's about 200% funded. It looks like here.
It's funded. Yeah.
So, if you're interested in a little more disturbing of a post-apocalyptic game,
got nice art.
It does. I mean, I gotta
nice art.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. Like, at very least, like Fallout just has giant scorpions, which are pretty mean and nasty as it is.
Fallout's got some pretty fucked up shit in it.
It does.
Giant cockroaches that are like
roaches.
really common.
Yeah.
Giant mole rats that have people-like intelligence. Whatever the fuck the centaur is.
Oh god, yeah. I feel like the rad roaches, at least, most of them tend to be, like, not bothering people unless you get, like, too close to them or something,
Like,
they don't, like, swarm well, I guess they could swarm over if there's enough of them.
They could, because that's the start of Fallout 3.
Yeah.
It's the rad roach swarm. Like, and then there's, like, Fallout 1.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen this happen to a lot of people. They exit the vault, die to rats immediately.
Yeah.
I've never died to those rats, but I've seen people die to those rats.
Giant blood-sucking mosquitoes. I mean, like, also they have a pretty horrible post-apocalyptic world, too.
To be fair, their world is horrible, like, just in general. Before the apocalypse, their world was fucking horrible.
Some of these things are a result of horrible, like, genetic experiments that have gotten loose and bred in the wild.
FEV, I know a lot about Fallout lore.
Centers are failed super mutants, you think?
They are, yeah. They're a product of FEV, and they're like just one of the more disturbing things in Fallout. The most disturbing thing, to me at least, in Fallout, is like they just put people brains in robots, but they were stupid and put prisoner brains in the robots, and the robots went insane and started murdering a bunch of people.
Yeah. There's also that weird, like, what was it, one of the Fallout New Vegas DLCs had the weird combinations of, what was it, like a coyote and a rattlesnake?
Oh, yeah, the Night Stalkers. I love those guys. They're cute. They're really cute, but they're awful. They're horrible monstrosities.
They are horrible monstrosities. They're kind of adorable, but they're like half snake, half
Yeah, they're half rattlesnake, half coyote.
And they also have, like, camouflage.
They can go invisible.
Yeah.
Then there's, like, the whole herald who turned into a tree.
Yeah. Purple tree stuff. And that entire vault was full of plant mutants.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Spore stuff. Look, Fallout... As bad as it is to be in a world run by giant vermin, I mean, Fallout was pretty terrible, too. Post-apocalyptic.
To be fair, the thing about why most of Fallout is terrible, though, most of it is honestly because of America and Vault-Tec. If those didn't exist, the world in Fallout would probably still suck, but not have super mutants and shit.
Because Vault-Tec makes really great decisions.
Most mutants, this is old canon technically, I think they changed it. So most mutants are a result of FEV, which was an American experiment.
I think that was canon up until they got to...
I think they changed it for ghouls at least in 3.
Yeah, they changed... Ghouls are just a result of, like, radiation exposure.
Ghouls used to be because of FEV.
Yeah. And now, like, I think because of 76, they're weird now.
I don't know. I know nothing. I don't consider 76 canon personally because of how much it retcons, but that is technically canon, yeah.
I kind of am the same line on that one if I wanted to go by Fallout lore or something. It just retcons way too much stuff. Like, you can retcon a few things. When you retcon like everything.
It changes, like, the fundamental beginnings of the Brotherhood of Steel, which is kind of a problem.
I mean,
it contradicts, like, all of the other games.
Yeah. They
also the Enclave is over there. Well, super mutants can kind of be anywhere, because they were in 3 because of the one vault.
So it could have been just that it was like a different version.
Anywhere that there are vats of FEV, super mutants exist.
Yeah, so I guess it could have been like that. It was an earlier batch that just was created during that early time there. That FEV.
Anywhere that the FEV exists, there's likely going to be super mutants.
I guess that's a thing you can say, is that they could have had other vaults that were experimenting with it.
Yeah, there were vaults and facilities with it all over the U.S. and Canada.
That's just a pleasant idea to have.
Yeah.
Oh, death claws. Those are a pleasant thing. Anyway.
Those are also because of FEV.
Yeah. Let's talk about something else, then. We got some more topics here to hit up. We're going to talk about Steve Jackson Games doing a thing. This is just a weird thing.
I'm excited.
All right. It's a Kickstarter for bookmarks and dice.
Why? What?
It's funded. They only wanted $500. It's funded.
What?
Bookmarks and dice.
Do you need a Kickstarter for this?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, what?
Like, I feel like you could just make these pretty cheap, because resin dice are not that expensive to produce.
I mean, like, I know they do some Kickstarters less for funding more nowadays and more for marketing. It is an interesting way that it became their marketing shtick at some point in time.
These are nice dice. I'll give them that. At least the pictures.
Yeah, they got like a little squid dude on it.
It's got a turtle on it, shark.
Yeah.
A whale, octopus.
Yeah.
Bookmarks, though. I don't understand that one.
Well,
I don't understand why bookmarks specifically.
I do remember that for Munchkin the game, there were rules that if you had like these bookmarks, they would allow you to do something in the game once per game, like, you know.
Okay.
So like, if everybody like, I think I only like our group, you know, we got a few of them and we said like, you know, oh, we'd only play if everybody had one or something like that, you know.
Like, because I've only played Munchkin 2 times in my life. There were no bookmarks involved.
Munchkin's still fun. I gotta be honest, like, it's always been a classically fun game.
Yeah, like, I enjoy it, I just think there's too much of it.
Oh god, there is way too much of it. But yeah, they wanted to do, like, dice sets and Munchkin bookmarks, and...
The dice are at least useful elsewhere.
Yeah. 6 Munchkin promotional bookmarks for use with our newest series of 6-sided die. So it looks like you can just get the bookmarks, or you can also get the die with the bookmarks.
Yeah, $12 gets you one of the dice sets.
Just from the wording, I think, the Kickstarter was primarily for the bookmarks.
I feel like it was, and then they had to justify it.
So they were like, well, we were going to put out these dice sets that were kind of neat because they were ocean-based.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yep.
It's a thing, I guess. It's got a hashtag on it.
Good.
Why do you have, like, pictures of social media apps on these? There's Twitter, I think that's Instagram, that's Facebook. These just confuse me.
For $150, you can get 12 bookmarks, 2 of each of the new ones, all the Ocean dice sets, and a Steve Jackson Games 2020 mystery box, which has, according to them, over $200 worth of games, expansions, accessories. I think it's we're clearing out our warehouse box.
Yeah. Hey, it was it was tempting enough for the 10 people who backed this tier, and now all those are gone. So yeah, I think this was good. 10 people already did this, so
wow. I think they did. I mean, honestly, like, again, like, I understand the idea of the mystery box.
I feel like they did it for the box.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, I can look at that and be like, you're clearing your warehouse from last year.
Box of stuff.
Yeah, that's what a lot of times those mystery box, or, like, if you go to, like, a convention like PAX Unplugged or something, where they have, like, the boxes that are mystery stuff that are for, like, charity, it's people cleared out their warehouses and donated it, You get to a point in time when you have an order that, yeah, things get old and then you don't sell them or something, or start selling them as much. They aren't as big, and, you gotta earn some money back somehow. Mystery box.
So occasionally I will see things on, like, the recommended bottom of Kickstarter. What the fuck is this? These are some weird-ass, ugly dice.
Oh, the add-ons down there are kind of weird.
I'm just gonna post this here. Look at these fucking weird-ass dice. And I just saw...
I'm gonna have to go into my phone to check this so I don't mess with the stream.
Yeah, don't break your stream.
I mean, it would just be temporary. Oh, what is that?
It's an odd... I don't know, it concerns me.
It's just
some kind of
weird...
Eldritch abomination.
Someone made some kind of weird dice abomination.
Just a weird... I'm up here, chat.
Yeah, oddball dice. Dice with odd number of faces with even odds.
Here, chat. We'll post it for you too. You can suffer with us.
Oh.
This isn't part of the top. This isn't part of the podcast. I just saw this down in the recommended. Why this is recommended among a board game and then some other weird shit, I don't know.
Oh god, it's like D5s and stuff and D3s.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make them mathematically work with a shape.
They don't.
That has even weighting.
There are rules for how to use those kinds of dice.
They have a D7 that apparently has 7 equally rollable sides.
It's horrendous.
A D1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 they're showing off on here. This is just weird. Anyway, I'm going to go away from that one there.
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinated and disgusted.
Yeah, so dice and bookmarks. God, let's just walk away from there now. I'm just gonna... Hey, of course, another important topic that we were going to talk about here is a World War II German train attack, a.k.a. It's Achtung Cthulhu, and you're attacking the Fuhrer train. So it's... It's Raid Hitler's personal armored express.
Oh shit! You can assassinate Hitler. I'm in.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. Wow.
I want to play this. I want to kill Hitler.
Yeah, that's the object of this one.
I want to kill Hitler with weird eldritch shit.
Yeah. Go, my go. Destroys the allies that they are anti-Cthulhuian ways.
God. It's just... really is just Wolfenstein.
It kind of is
like,
just...
It's just that level of absurdity that makes it okay.
They do have this... We'll steal a train on Tuesday. I mean... So it can be run as a prequel to the main Forest of Fear campaign, or it's a standalone, which is neat that it can be a prequel to that. I'm assuming Hitler gets away, because then you can't play more. Or maybe if it's single player, then you can just have him, finish him off. There you go.
Or it's a body double.
Or it's a body double. Or it's really Cthulhu in horror disguised.
Yeah, it's just Cthulhu. No, I don't think it's Cthulhu.
I mean, there's a lot of weird things that could happen at there. Like, if you're playing it for standalone, you could just have it work.
Kill Hitler.
Is this a genuine chance to kill the Fuhrer? A baited trap designed to draw out the resistance out and lure them to this death. Find out to this thrilling mission. I mean, I really... This is one of those games I would love to play just because it's just so...
It's a bit silly.
Yeah.
I would love to take part in this.
Like Achtung Cthulhu.
Just one of these things. It's one of those... One day, maybe.
Yeah.
No.
One of these times I just gotta do an Achtung Cthulhu adventure just because it's so off the cuff. Well, ridiculous.
God.
But yeah, so that's an interesting adventure that's being released. So let us talk about our next one, which is a Kickstarter, which goes along with Pride Month. Which,
Pride Month.
Yeah, apparently it's the third installment of this group that every year for Pride Month does a Pride-based Kickstarter.
Ooh, nice.
Adventuring with Pride. It's their series. This is their third year of doing it. It's got some one-shot adventures, some designed characters to use, NPCs, some subclasses, a playable race, some bird folk that are quite flamboyant, things like that. I mean, honestly, when I saw this, it was like, oh, this would be nice to talk about for 5e, but it also then made me reflect upon, oh, wait, then there's Pathfinder with Galarian, where this shit is just, normal.
Yeah, where they just handle these themes better.
Fifth edition doesn't even mention it, so you need supplements like this in order to, kind of bring it up, and it's kind of just...
This is something I really like about Pathfinder, this side tangent. And this is, I guess, mild spoilers for a very old adventure path, Wrath of the Righteous. There's a trans character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not made a big deal. You help her out, and then she, joins your team.
Yeah. It's the idea because it's there's magic, and it's a world that, honestly has seen some shit. That's the thing that you feel about it, Galarian is a planet that's really seen a lot of shit that's happened to it over the years. And so they're just whatever, do what you're going to do at this point in time in life. Live life to your fullest. I mean, there's horrible giant monstrosities down the corner that could, murder you at any time. Do what you're going to do.
The shaman iconic character?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the shaman. I'm just gonna double check that. Pathfinder shaman iconic. Yeah, she's trans. The shaman dwarf, and she came out in 2012. It's a very well written character. Chandra.
Yeah.
Geltul.
Chandra Geltul. Yeah.
She's a trans character. And this was back in 2012 when, there wasn't a lot of media attention on trans people. They just did it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really nice because she's a very well-written character.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing that, a good... not to detract from, the Kickstarter, and it's good to have some things like this, honestly. It's, it's the thing that, I feel like 5e needs more of in better ways, and then Pathfinder just always does well.
Because Paizo will mention these things about their NPCs, whereas 5th edition and Wizard just doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of leave it up to interpretation. There's not really a lot of great representation in most 5th edition things. The Critical Role setting is a very good one because Matt Mercer did make a lot of LGBT NPCs.
Well, it's like, honestly, the way they portray Ravshai's fuckboy. Honestly, he would have gone for whatever. If Quentin was there, he might have gone for Quentin.
That guy? Yeah.
That
also
guy.
Revia. Ravshai is in space.
Oh, Revia. Damn it. So many R names.
Ravshai does not have a fuckboy. Ravshai is Ravshai has 8 charisma.
I forgot. Look,
9 charisma, sorry.
Look, names are my worst thing ever.
Ravshai is married to the helmet.
Well, it's sort of like on Thursday where everybody's name is kind of like a C kind of K noise, and it just breaks my brain sometimes. Kaz, Carrie, Cole, and Claude.
So I picked Cole. I actually had forgotten what any of the other characters' names were.
They're all like that kind of hard K noise. And it just breaks my brain so many times.
But yeah, so back to the Kickstarter. I love this.
Mm-hmm.
I am a person who, because of the way I am, I'm openly bisexual and genderqueer. I play a lot of LGBT characters, and I feel like this would have good stuff for me in it. This makes me feel represented in a way.
For me, I say, I experiment with different types of characters a lot of times. I play male and female characters. I've had both male and female be, straight or gay or whatever feels appropriate to the characters I build them, Some of them, I just don't have anything that they are. Certainly I've played characters that are just I mean, I gotta admit, it's the weird things of the Sunday game, the guy who likes short women. Because he's the normal human who was raised along halflings. He's into halflings or short women. And it's just a weird thing. He's like, you're too tall for me.
Not into this long snake woman.
It's just too tall. But see, that's an unusual kind of little thing, in a world where there's all different species and stuff.
Yeah, I mean...
And that's the other thing, too. Pathfinder does, species by calling them ancestries so much better than,
Well, 5e has recently changed it, but I've yet to see anyone actually use that change because it's not... It's listed in one book no one bought.
Yeah.
It's, 5e just uses lineage, which I think is a mistake, because lineage has a negative connotation for some people because it's the same name as what they introduced in Tasha's. With the really broken, everyone just gets a feat.
Yeah.
So I think they should have picked a different name first.
They could have very easily just said
They
species.
could have just picked a different name.
Species is what it actually is. They're all different species on the same planet that, multiple intelligent species evolved on this planet in this, setting. Or divine entities that are actually beings created them, whatever. I mean,
It's... Yeah. God. Anyways, I like these bird people. They're fabulous.
Yeah, there's like a peacock
This
lady.
peacock is so good.
Yeah. They got interesting characters that they're showing out here. So I mean, it's good stuff. More of that stuff. Glad to see like if that's just a yearly thing, great for them. If they're going to put out something like this every year. You know?
Yeah, like I like so this kind of stuff does make me feel genuinely represented.
Mm-hmm. We have another Kickstarter here. With Reign of Discordia, 2nd edition. I have to look into what Reign of Discordia 1st edition was.
I feel like I've heard of this.
It was a book, apparently.
Yeah, I have heard of this. Yeah, it's a setting.
Yeah, it's a setting.
It's a space setting.
I'm
pretty sure it's always been compatible with both 5e and Paizo, with D&D and such, right? Because this one is for 5e and
White Star game
White
system.
Star.
Yeah.
I don't offhand know what White Star is.
White Star games.
White Star RPG. This one.
It's a science fiction-y one, it looks like.
Yeah, okay, I have not heard of this, but I've seen it before. Like, I've seen the cover art.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like.
So, I mean, like, it's inspired by retrofuturism of the 70s and 80s, like the original Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, Star Blazers, that kind of style of sci-fi.
The aesthetic, it's sci-fi, but all the computers look really old.
Yeah.
Which I'm personally a very big fan of.
I mean, honestly, like, it's that idea that, like, what would our sci-fi... What would we actually develop if we would develop something like that? And it's kind of hard to say sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I like it because it has... Because they... Back to Fallout. Fallout's like that because they never invented microprocessors.
Yeah.
So it has really interesting world-building opportunities.
Yeah, they couldn't build things as small in Fallout, so everything is like a lot bigger or clunkier.
Yeah,
and that's the thing is, though, it still works because that's the stuff they developed, and then they developed other really interesting technologies. Like, you know, they went down a very different technological tree than, let's say, like we did, honestly. And I think that's why, yeah, Fallout's a very interesting alternate world history that leads to their...
yeah, a lot of people don't actually realize this, but Fallout is actually an alternate history setting because the Divergent timeline is after World War II. It is in 1947 or something like that. Or 1950, because the way computers were invented ended up being very different.
Yeah. They don't have microprocessors. They've got other stuff that allowed them to make relatively smaller computers. But their computers are still pretty big. I mean, they can have, still, like, a decent, like, I feel like the thing is, like, when you get to those big, like, monitor-sized computers, that is the entire computer. That's as small as they can make it, kind of thing, you know? It's, like, the part that's the glass is probably, like, our flat-screen monitors, you know? They just have everything behind it because they can't have, like, these really tiny, like, phone-sized things. And, you know, just, Microsoft didn't get invented until, like, the 2010s, 2050s or something. Yeah, so, like, it was, like, 60 years afterwards. So they had to develop a lot more technology and different things. Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
The divergence point is sometimes after World War II. Though theoretically, it could be earlier because of shit like, you know, the aliens, all the weird companies.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Because aliens are a thing. We can't forget that.
They've been a thing in, like, every Fallout game. Just as, like, a hidden thing, but then there were a DLC in Fallout 3 that was kind of bad.
Yeah. Look, Fallout 3 had its good and bad points, I think.
It was, like, fine, mostly.
I like the base game, mostly, and then there was some okay. I think the VR thing was kind of neat in Fallout 3. Was that one? The one where you went to, like, Operation Anchorage or something?
Yeah, that one was, like, fine. I like the swamp one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hate the ending of Fallout 3. I don't like Broken Steel.
Yeah, was that the DLC, the added-on ending?
That's
stuff?
the one where you just got to continue the game.
I mean, I don't.
The reason I hate that ending, and I understand why they've done it this way, is because you travel with a literal Superman who could just go do it, but he says no, it's your job.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to have a super mutant companion, but I guess if he had him there, he would have been the option.
You could have just made another ending.
Mm-hmm. You could have had a special ending. If you had this guy as your companion, you've got this special ending. And that could have been a cool ending. That maybe like him sacrificing himself meant.
Well, he wouldn't have died. He would have been fine.
Maybe
he would have just lived because he's super mutants are immune to radiation.
I guess true, but I like the idea that maybe like it does something else to him and sacrifices him, and then like maybe you can make peace with the super mutants or something because a bunch of them saved.
That would require Bethesda to care about using super mutants in any way that isn't just a meat wall.
Yeah.
Anyways, space system right here.
Yeah, space system. It's kind of neat.
It
might be
cool.
based on the book. I don't know.
Might be. I love retrofuturism. It's one of those things that because it reminds me of old '80s movies, which is why I like it.
Yeah. There's plenty of good old '80s movies. There's some pretty bad ones too, but
yeah, but no one remembers the bad ones.
That's true. You only remember the good old '80s movies that didn't hurt our souls for silliness or badness. Let's continue because we got a bunch still here. This was an interesting Kickstarter book. Injuries and Vile Deeds for 5e. I like the side of it because like it's options for like injuring stuff, character options, terrifying monsters and villains. Tactical and descriptive injury system. That sounds kind of neat.
Definitely could be interesting because injuries are an optional rule in 5th edition. They just suck.
Yeah. So, hey, another optional rule that could really use some work.
It's like if you're gonna run a more brutal game, injuries are actually a good thing to include.
Yeah. Each of a character option and enemy ties to the injury system, making players apply the cinematic description throughout tactical combat. It's funded, of course. And they're trying to, if you have, like, darker aesthetic games or, like, games that have very big kill animation kind of things, you know, you can get that kind of stuff, that kind of feeling that you're, like, I mean, like, sometimes I try to, like, if you're in battle with something, give some good descriptions, but that's not always easy to do.
So I am very mixed on that, especially letting a player do it because I've seen players take their descriptions a little too far. Well, it was really a little weird.
That's why I try to do it on my end and not let players do it,
like if I'm asked how I kill something, I just generally do it like very simple, not graphically.
Yeah. I mean, like, when freaking Eric crits a Naga for down to like 5 health.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that doesn't kill it, but you probably knocked out a whole lot of teeth.
I mean, I know I didn't cause it to run away, but I like to think I did.
It had so little health left.
It was gonna run away.
It runs away at like 30 hit points. I'm gonna be honest. So it was gonna run away like if he did half that damage, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Cool is a monster.
Yeah, when he crits, it's just so big.
Even when he doesn't crit,
he does a lot of damage. He's very very big at damage. Anyway,
fighter.
Yep. It's 20 page PDF of their current playtest version. You'll get that right away. But they're working on a bigger one for the future, so that's kind of what they have. They have a playtest version that is available to Blackers to check out right away.
Yeah, because I, as a DM, am typically more inspired by things like, not so much for like, the sci-fi shit I run. If I'm doing a fantasy game, I tend to draw inspiration from Dark Souls. That kind of, darker world where it just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be good for me, but I also don't. I'm very mixed on injuries. Most things I've only had bad experiences with them because of 5e's terrible rules.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, I honestly... It interests me to a degree, but I would like to see how they would do it.
I would need to read them.
Yeah, and see how well it goes. I mean, honestly, the monsters and villains might be nice, too.
No, I mean, the monsters will always be nice. More monsters is always good.
Yeah. As, you know, we just spray them in from a billion different sources and don't get any, like, real, like, compilation.
I have so many third-party bestiaries saved.
That's where they gotta come from, unfortunately. It just feels sad that it's just, we gotta rely on that. 5e. I just...
Yeah.
Anyway, so a board game is getting an RPG. So apparently the Dark Tower board game from the 80s has inspired Return to the Dark Tower, the role-playing game.
I've played this board game.
I've heard of it.
A very long time ago. I don't remember much about it.
I don't remember a lot about it, but I do remember this game vaguely.
I know, yeah, there's a newer version of it too.
Probably the original.
Which I remember, I believe uses a phone, which I hate board games that use phone.
A fantasy adventure board of electronic wizardry. What does this have in it that, like, you know, is electronic wizardry? Oh, the big tower was electronic. Oh my god, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh god, a game like this. This is very 80s. That entire thing. I've seen stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. Now I remember this.
No, that.
So this was...
yeah, like I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know this because it doesn't say this on the, you know, the beautiful Wikipedia page.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming this is maybe somewhat Stephen King-ish. He's got
the Dark Tower stuff.
Tower.
It's got to be connected to it somehow.
Because I mean, it doesn't say, but Dark Tower is a generic enough name, and you can generic anything out of Stephen King because his books they're good, but they're a little generic.
Yeah.
He's a good horror writer, especially when he does weird shit.
Yeah. Okay. Was subject to trade secret litigation. Okay, so that's not even like... I would think, like, you know, if they were stealing the name from Stephen King, it wasn't based on that. No, it's trade secret litigation. It was in a thing. Well, that's weird.
That was really weird, yeah.
All right. Anyway,
okay.
So it's an RPG. The Haunted Lamp. Look.
I like the one where all the cars get possessed and start running people over.
Yeah. There are some...
Maximum Overdrive.
It's just
terrible movie.
It's the Cokefield rave.
It's when he
madness.
Was on a lot of drugs.
He was on so many drugs. I thought the story and the movie about the horrible giant rat monster with people cleaning up a thing and having to stalked and killed by that was always an interesting one. Because that thing was horrific. It was like winged rat demon. Anyway, enough about Stephen King. So yeah, it's officially licensed of the original kind of game. It's inspired by the 1980s one. It's the idea that you're trying to face the forces of the tower. There's probably a lot more to this, than just that. Each hero is defined by a single polyhedral die, and you'll roll that die to determine your actions fighting a dragon. So, I don't know how complex or not complex
it doesn't look that complicated.
So I think it's a very...
Seems like a very simple game.
Yeah. I feel like the idea... because it's designed to be played over a series of 3 to 5 game sessions as a campaign.
Oh, it's a legacy board game. Cool.
So...
Oh, the tower's a dice roller.
Yeah, the tower's a dice roller. And I think it's sort of it's a very simple RPG system, probably. made that you're just going to be like, you're not building very complex characters like your D&D. You're building character that I'll be playing for a little bit here, and, you know, going on this adventure, and probably, like, each time the adventure can be different kind of thing, I'm guessing, or something. I don't know.
Sounds about right. I'll look at this sneak peek preview. Yeah.
Like, your hero stuff is the cards are very simple for it, you know. It's
yeah, it seems pretty simple looking at this. There's the adversary sheet, which is it's a pretty simple sheet.
They have a Roll20 module for it. That's neat. Because I mean, like, again, like, I feel like it's that kind of like, it's a very loose RPG, and it's probably not made to be like a heavy RPG. It feels like maybe there could be more added on depending on what's in their little booklet. Honestly, I don't know what's in the hardcover rule book. It's 250 pages. That could be enough to like make a campaign out of just a simple rule set, and it's going to be a lot of like role playing. I'm not against that.
Could be. Yeah, I mean, I like this kind of stuff. You know.
Yeah. So it's kind of neat. Again, it feels like it's like mashing up the original board game with an RPG, which is not bad. So, but that is the Return of the Dark Tower. Did I link that properly? I did. Good. I'm not like losing my mind. Okay, so I am losing my mind, but that's, you know, other reasons.
You still have one of those?
A little bit. I sold part of it. Anyway, let's talk about one last Kickstarter then on our list of things to talk about, because we got 2 more topics, and this one is Herbium, a botanical 5e supplement. This is it's inspired by botanical folklore, mythology, and herbology. So we talked previously about like a herbology kind of alchemist book. This is more like, you know, like plant-based creatures and stuff, it looks like, or things related to that, maybe fae and stuff like that. So it's the love child of a folklorist, love of the botanical mythology, and the tabletop role-playing community. It includes foraging mechanics, over 60 plants, guide for creating your own fictional plants, and 5e mechanics. New subclass character, monstrous creature from the dark side of traditional folk horror, a lot of craftable potions, poisons, and items. So a bunch of stuff, and it's kind of neat.
Yeah, more stuff like this is cool, because 5th edition don't have alchemy or herbology or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's similar to the book we talked about before, but like it does take like a side roll to it, so they overlap a little bit. So it's like, you know,
you could probably use both those books together.
Yeah.
I learned recently that there is basically no point in 5th edition to take either poisoners kits or alchemy kits.
Wow. Because
poison never comes up. And an alchemy kit can only make acid.
Wow, that's pretty bad. If it can only make acid,
because 5th edition's crafting rules are non-existent.
Huh. That's it's interesting. Well. Huh.
Also, most of the tools don't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, most of the tools are kind of like there, and they don't really do anything, and it's like, I've seen that before.
Cooking utensils are actually useless. They mechanically don't do anything.
I mean, they're there for like character building at most.
That's it. They have no mechanics attached to them.
And there's a couple of stuff like that. Like, I mean, like, honestly, Pathfinder has... I guess Pathfinder at least like gives you the option of like...
Pathfinder has a crafting skill.
Yeah, has a crafting skill. And Pathfinder also like has like things like you can like improvise a lot better shit with some of these things, you know? It's like... It's that weird juxtaposition that 5e has its improvisation system, you know, in place there. That like I could be like, I want to do this crazy thing. And really, then it just comes down to your DM is like, do this skill check with disadvantage or advantage, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know. but Pathfinder, being much more mechanical, they're also like, hey, here's like item improvisation. You want to do something weird with a fork? Knock yourself out. It's a fork.
Yeah, it's silver fork. Just go poke people with it.
They'll prove they're werewolf or not. So, more creatures, more interesting rules. I thought it was neat looking. And little plant monsters or spirits are a little neat too.
I like plant monsters. There's not enough of them in 5th edition.
The little weird, like, bird spirit with a pumpkin.
I like the bird with a pumpkin's pretty good.
Yeah, he's hanging out with other, like, weird birdie things, like a bird root and a bird leaf thing, you know?
That's pretty good.
So, that's some interesting stuff. So, our last topic today, before we would go into our other things we kind of do here.
Do we have to talk about this one?
No, I feel need to
I can't believe Chanthus is about to ruin my day with this link.
David Bowie, the Monopoly board game.
Why? What I want to know.
Because someone that owned something related to David Bowie wanted some more money.
It's just disrespectful.
This really is. I told you, the Usaopoly disturbs a corpse. That's what this title is.
Just disrespectful.
I couldn't believe this when I saw it. Like, there's some of these that I like see that I'm like, oh, it's just Usaopoly being itself. But I'm like, why? Why is this a thing that you're going to make out of this? Why is this necessary? Sometimes capitalism just goes down a dark path.
Yeah, like, this is just kind of fucked up.
And this is one of them. I don't know. Like, I want to be more angry than I am, but it's sort of like I feel like it's just Usaopoly, and I just shake my head at them sometimes.
I'm not even that shocked, really.
They do so many monopolies, and it's just they're so bad.
And I believe the skull is. What's wrong music? Bowie.
Yeah, their tokens are supposed to represent albums.
Yeah, he has one of his albums covers the skull, I think.
Yeah. I mean, where is
Black Star is the one with the skull, I think, which was his last album.
Where is the one of him playing what's his face? Oh God, the Goblin King. Is that Gerald?
It's a goblin, babe. I love that movie, mostly because of David Bowie.
David Bowie really makes that movie. He really does. I have to agree. Like, it would have been a weird movie otherwise, but David Bowie just takes it over the top.
He's such a weird man. He was perfect for that role.
He was. Man. At least, David Bowie's got some good music, and you can enjoy it.
Most of David Bowie stuff is pretty good.
Yeah. With or without the Police. Because I always have to remember that's his original band he was with. So, why don't you go listen to some David Bowie music and enjoy some Labyrinth? Because honestly, or play the Labyrinth RPG and go face David Bowie in your own.
Yeah.
Your DM is not going to be able to sound like David Bowie, but he'll try, and it'll be hilarious. It'll be terrible, but it'll be hilarious. And there is a Labyrinth RPG.
Yeah,
so
there is a Labyrinth RPG.
So go play that, and listen to some music and enjoy that. And I can't recommend this. I mean, unless you're a weird fan of Monopoly and David Bowie that intersects in some kind of amalgam of like 20 people.
Monopoly board is just disgusting.
It does not look well anyway. It's just it feels very cheap.
Yeah.
And attempting. I'm just trying to think of, like, is there some kind of reason, like, now for this kind of thing? Or is there just, like, was it on their list and they finally got to it?
Who knows?
We made the deal with David Bowie's estate. Wow, should we do something with it? I'll put it on Monopoly.
I mean, one of David Bowie's, I think, albums was announced recently to be like the best-selling vinyl record in like music history.
Huh, kind of neat. Honestly, like, I respect people that really like vinyl. I don't hear enough of it to know that there's a difference.
I genuinely, I don't know anything about vinyl records. It's
people really like it.
I don't know. It's not my thing.
I mean, there's a bunch in my household. There's a bunch of actual mini vinyls up in my closet that I can see right now that I haven't disturbed because the box half fell apart when I was cleaning out this closet next to me. It's not quite cleaned out, but it's mostly cleaned out, and those vinyl records are mostly what's remaining. So, why don't we talk about something better? What's, did I just go delete that off the thing? I did delete that off the thing. Damn it. So I'll have to have the deeper discussion second. Why don't we do our week in gaming while I fix the thing with deeper discussion back on the list. We'll switch back to that then. Because I also didn't have a thing chosen. Our week in 2 gaming. And honestly, maybe it was a busy week, it sounded like, so maybe just, I don't know if we'll skip out or not. We'll see. We'll feel.
I mean, we had games, technically.
Yeah, we had a couple of weeks of a new thing on Sunday.
Yeah, you did.
I got to be the most generic man of them all.
Just rolled like the most average stats,
and so I just placed them in the most average way. And so I'm average man.
Just average dude.
And I named myself generic human. I'm sorry, generic Hammond.
Generic Hammond.
A good boy who comes from a small city in a very like a small town nearby to like a big, to basically like. Outside Night City.
Small town kid.
Outside of Night City. So it's still very like cyberpunky, but it's the small town cyberpunk. Probably like where like some farms are and stuff that supply food for Night City. They're probably like weird cyberpunk farms, I'm assuming.
They're probably like mostly robots.
Yeah. You still have to look after the robots, but I mean that's sort of like old Betsy Watcher 273 is on the fritz. Got to fix it so it watches the cows some more. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. And I joined Future Cops.
You're not really cops.
Yeah, I know, we're government agents.
You're technically like government agents, but also not really.
Mm-hmm. We're off the books.
There's old man, a big snake woman, and a zoomer.
Yeah.
That's the party.
Mm-hmm. Look.
You did some crime investigating, found some gross, disgusting things.
Yeah.
Fought some roll bits, and now you know there's some murderous wizards on the... Not wizards. Wizards only exist. Murderous spellcasters on the loose. You have to maybe find. I don't know. If you want to.
I mean, like, it's this weird issue that I'm
you got, like, the spellcasters and then the spellcasting gang that's being targeted.
But, so that's, like, the problem. Is sort of, like, I'm like, we... You know, it's like, because, like, I did some cop training. I'm like, we really should focus down one, and it's not easy to if we're, like, you know, investigating both at the same time. Like... You know, yes, they're a criminal organization. They're bad. We would want to take them down.
Yeah.
Probably the murderers are worse currently, even though they are bad and murdering
these
people.
Magical murderers, maybe also bad.
I don't know. It's which is worse, you know, at the time. The people that are on the murder spree, or the organization that just abducts people and takes them to a body shop.
You also met the most important character, Sexy Goblin.
Yeah. I mean, we met a bunch of, like, weirdly sexy people, probably.
You also do have Sexy Goblin, who's just a Chad.
Yeah. He's a nice Chad, though.
He's a nice dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, this game is in a custom setting I've made. Mostly still making it. I don't have anything beyond this one city, so you guys aren't allowed to leave the city.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably go to my small town village
You
nearby.
could go to like places around the city.
Because it's
I can bullshit my way through that,
yeah.
but if you go to another city,
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Because I honestly don't know what, like, you know, I don't feel like we're very post-apocalyptic, so there's probably, like, green
So
stuff.
there was an apocalypse 1,700 years ago.
That's a long time ago. I feel like...
The world has rebuilt.
Yeah, that's why I feel like my small town is still relatively, like, green and stuff, so I'm like...
the world is mostly fine. Just some big land masses are missing. Because to stop a lich, you got really powerful. A woman had to blow up magic.
See, and that's why I am a sports star that was on the giant robot team.
Yeah, basically, like, in this world,
fighting robots.
There's mechs. There are mechs that do fight. It's a sport.
Yeah, that's just one. I was an athlete before I became a cop.
The core of this setting, about like 1700 years ago from the start of this game, magic was basically just ripped out of the world to stop a horrible undead army. Hey, magic came back. It has a lot of side effects of going away and coming back. One of the interesting side effects, dragons lost most of their power, and one race lost the ability to die. So when magic came back, dragons got really strong again, and one race, a lot of them died.
Let me guess, it was the Kitsune?
Yeah, a lot of Kitsune were like, oh, I can die now. Hell yeah, finally. Because they were alive for... There were some that were alive for so fucking long. Because they live 1,000 years.
So they were already used to living a long time, and they're like,
they're already used to living a long time.
And then it became a lot longer.
And then they couldn't choose to go to their god's divine plane anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
So they had to stay on shitty material plane.
Yeah. I mean, dragons are really probably happy about now. They're like, oh, great, our
dragons, like, honestly, like, dragons and Kitsune are pretty happy with the state of the world, because dragons are powerful again, and Kitsune have their divine magic back.
Well, that's why I feel like coming from, like, a small town, probably mostly halflings, a lot of nature magic, honestly.
Halflings are always happy.
Yeah, and we're always happy.
They're also street racers.
They're also street racers. And halfling... Halfling, oh god, Vin Diesel is my uncle.
Was such an old meme from a different game. Because Lightning had said, halflings like family, and I posted the Vin Diesel family meme, and that became canon.
So now I've got Uncle Dom, who's just basically Vin Diesel from Fast and Furious as a halfling.
Dom from Fast and Furious.
Look, he's a good uncle. He helped me get into police academy.
Yeah, he got you a cop job.
And then and I was recruited into like a weird government.
You're recruited into basically XCOM.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool. I get a higher payday than just being a cop.
Yeah, you technically do get paid more.
Yeah, that probably helps, you know.
Like, you live comfortably.
No, it's a fun game. I like it a lot.
You basically are just like the magic FBI.
Yeah. I don't think anybody has anything on Mondays, unless we've added
no, I don't do anything on Mondays.
We had a couple of Star Wars games.
I had a couple Star Wars games. I remember part of the game 2 weeks ago because someone did some bad things.
Oh, fucking
you guys captured a prisoner who had stolen some stuff and was like murdering her accomplices because that was part of her contract. And then she gave you information, and then someone decided to try to kill her.
Yes, and like, honestly, Cell reacted very well. I think I reacted how I would have reacted, which was like, I was just flabbergasted.
I was absolutely stunned.
I was like, what? Just, look, I expect that from Nax a little bit, because Nax also did some stuff, and I'm just
shot this woman and then stabbed her, and she's still alive.
Honestly, like, I didn't even want to, like, I wanted to use her. I wanted to the thing is, sometimes I'm like, I recruit people, but I'm also like, I don't want to recruit them permanently. I want to get them on the ship long enough to help out with thing down the line we need to do.
Specific problem.
Yeah, I want to pick up people because they're like tools for the specific problem, because that's negotiation.
Like, I mean, it's just like, she's a little dark-sidey, but so's half the party.
I mean, like, you know. I feel like I'm being driven more light side lately, though.
All the circumstances are happening.
One with a person who just, you know.
Oh yeah.
Blew something up.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was the next session. So you guys went to the fortress. First you went to talk to the rebels.
Yeah.
Get information. You learned something from the X-Wing game happened.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure no one in this game has played the X-Wing game, except maybe Lightning.
I did not, so no.
That's where I'm pulling some of this shit from.
Mm-hmm.
You got some information. You learned that Vader showed up and he did what he does best, murdered like everyone.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, that's still actually canon.
Yeah, I was just interested. I was like,
And then
why
he left.
did Vader show up? That seems unusual, unless like there's
That's
something going
weird.
on.
He learned that the Empire is now at war with crime syndicates, and also technically kind of itself, because there was a coup attempt on Palpatine.
Yeah.
That's also canon.
Well, I'm assuming in like lessy canony now, it's
Legends now, but it's what old canon was.
I'm assuming the person what's behind it now is like in your storyline is the Inquisitor people that we're fighting against, which, you know, it sounded like they were.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Nah.
Okay. Well, we don't know that. I've assumed that, like, you know, because I'm like, these people are rebelling.
There's stuff going on that you would learn about if you had pursued the Empire stuff more, because that stuff's still happening.
Yeah.
But you guys chose the other thing, which is fine, and I think you chose the cooler thing personally.
Yeah.
But you learned stuff, and then you went to the Inquisitor Fortress.
Yeah.
I had made very nice stats for a spaceship that I intended for you guys to get.
Yep.
And then you rigged it to explode.
I don't know why we rigged it to explode.
I don't know why you rigged it to blow up, but you did.
I was confused by that. Like, there was a lot of stuff going on with that ship I was confused with when we were investigating it. Like I understood, like, oh, okay, if someone is beginning to escape, we can blow it up. We can put something in there, you know.
Yeah. Sure. You went to the fortress. Yeah, so she couldn't escape in it, but I feel like there were other ways she could have prevented that.
Yeah, we probably could have just disabled it, honestly.
Could have just cut the fuel lines or something.
Like, pulled out the hyperdrive. Those are detachable.
Yeah, they are. They did just slot in.
It takes a little work, but it's not impossible.
Yeah. You went inside the fortress and you found a lady who had a whole monologue prepared. And then after I said, "No, fight me."
And I really enjoyed that, because it was just like,
"Fuck you, fight me."
Fuck you, you're gonna fight us anyway, kind of thing, you know? It was just like, I was like, you know, honestly, yeah, you know, I honestly, at that point in time, because of what we've heard, didn't think we were going to be peacefully negotiating. I
have so much respect for the "fuck you, fight me" type characters who just don't want to talk. I respect that, because I can't do that personally. I'm too curious. But you fought her. She did some neat things.
Yeah.
I think she might have... See, she wasn't... I thought immediately after the finishing that she was a little underpowered, and then I looked, and she had almost killed Cell and Yak.
Yes. Those two had been really beat up.
So I was like, maybe she's on par.
Yeah.
Because I see, like, the amount of damage you put up, but it's only the really one person who puts out a ridiculous amount of damage.
Like, I can do some damage, but I'm like hit or miss. I feel like I'm very
Yak straight up does the most damage because he's a class designed around damage.
Yeah.
Nax can do some damage. Ravshai can do a pretty decent amount of damage. Really, just Yak does a lot of damage.
Even Saren can do some damage because he's like a paladin.
It's just Cell can roll anything.
Yeah, well, so it's me and Cell are just not rolling. Like,
you guys roll really badly, and it's really unfortunate.
For me, I've been looking at it. I'm like, I really like my best way to do stuff is like less lightsaber combat, more powers. My powers, are
more force powers and stuff,
are probably the more potent thing I can do at this point in time.
E-Fodder, she tried to run away.
Mm-hmm. But we did manage to stop her.
You did manage to stop her. Had she not been shot the second time and lived, the next thing she was going to do, because Cell was grappling her, was she was going to force jump out the window with Cell.
Yeah.
And just take him into the seat. When she probably would have lived, but you know.
And then a starship blew up, at least part
and
of it.
Then the cockpit of the starship exploded, and then I was sad. You were before on the turn order, and you prevented her from escaping.
Yeah.
So good job.
I just have to say, I'm still flabbergasted as to why that happened. I just don't know.
I mean, I intended for you to get the ship because I assumed you were gonna like sell it or something. Because you did a full examination of the ship's wreckage. Because of the way it was described as people planting the explosives, I can't justify it being repairable, unfortunately.
Oh, it's just done for the memes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just for the memes. I feel upset about it still, too, because it was just for the memes.
But I'm gonna be kind to you all and say you could have salvaged its stealth drive out of it, because that's not in the cockpit. So you would have just a tier 3 stealth drive. Because it was a stealth ship. I was upset about it as a DM. Because I had put work into that ship.
I gotta say, like, you know, I just don't like doing things for the memes in a game.
No, I hate memes in D&D for the most part.
And, like, that's what it felt like. It was just for the memes. Like, and again, like, playing it off as like an accident or something, whatever. But he did it on purpose and then made it an accident, and that's why it doesn't feel good for me. If it was something like, you know, like it was a possible accident because you know we set it to blow or something, you know, then he had to like make a check when he was in the bag or something. That would have been something, you know. That would have been like, we should have known better than to set that. We should have like maybe just disabled or something. That would have felt different, you know, when it was an actual accident.
Yeah.
There was player choice behind it, and
it was just not a good thing. I mean, like, I'm just gonna give the party ships that they can steal like all the time, so it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that I spent work and that work was kind of wasted.
I can understand that part of it.
The ships are kind of annoying to design and keep them within the realms of the rules.
See, that's
they have very specific cost rules you have to follow.
I got you.
But then you left that planet and now you are going. You're at Osis, which is a horrible desert planet, which upsets your Gungan.
He doesn't like desert planets.
It's actually worse than a desert. It's a wasteland planet.
I mean, we did stop at Tatooine and drop off those.
You did stop at Tatooine.
Yeah. And he may or may not, and a Gungan may or may not have killed his father.
He may have not have murdered his father. I don't know.
We don't know. We don't talk about it. We don't ask.
We kind of fast forwarded through that one.
He disappeared for a few hours while we were on planet or something, and then he came back, and we were like, hey, you got what you needed? And he's, just give us this look, and was like, yeah, I got what I needed.
Yeah, and now you're on a horrible wasteland planet. You're gonna go meet with someone maybe helpful.
Maybe helpful. We'll find out.
Oh no, it depends if you fucking shoot her on sight.
I'm not going to.
Well, we know you wouldn't be able to hit, so it's fine.
Well, that's also accurate, but like...
It depends on what the Chaos Gremlins do.
There are 2 Chaos Gremlins. One's half a Chaos Gremlin, the other's a Chaos Gremlin.
One's just a Chaos Gremlin.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think to myself, is this what happens with mads and fish all the time?
I'm gonna be honest. Kind of.
They are Chaos Gremlins too. The thing is, I don't plan enough for them to really interfere with my plans. So I don't really have to. I don't really feel it on my end, as much.
Like, I mean, they're mostly fine, but the decisions they make are baffling.
They do make really terrible decisions a lot.
Also, yeah, like, we can chat for next game, about things.
Oh.
I don't remember about what, but I've been told in chat.
Mm-hmm. Start talking about some things. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Star Wars. You guys are kind of at the halfway point that I've envisioned, or at least one of them, because the other one was obviously Empire shit.
Yeah.
Which that'll just get reused for another game. So I intend on running another Star Wars game now that I have more experience with the system. One less Force centric.
Mm-hmm. I'm fine with that. Would be kind of neat,
I kind of leaned into the more Force stuff because most of the party picked Force stuff.
I mean, for the first time, for testing it out, that was kind of the direction I wanted to kind of try to go to. But I understand going something a little less than that too.
There's plenty of non-Force stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Wednesday we had a couple of games.
We did things on Wednesday. I soloed an Aboleth.
You did solo an Aboleth, while Revia was mind controlled and tried to murder everybody.
Yeah, murdered Yakul pretty well.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, murdered Yakul pretty well. Just was going through and just was mind controlled and murdering everybody and kept honestly, the will saves were not that difficult with their bonus.
Didn't roll over a 4.
Yeah, I was looking at it, I'm you only have to roll. Yes, you have a less than 50% chance. You should be able to make this in at least 3 rolls. Yeah. It was 8 rolls before they made it. It was 8
rolls, and by the time the save was made, the thing died the next turn.
Yeah, I'm you had a 40% chance of making the check. That's a pretty good chance still. You just couldn't roll. It was so bad. It was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. It was funny.
And then you got a new person that Yakul is a great recruiter.
I'm just gonna let Yakul do all the recruiting from now on. It went really well, I think.
You want to be a pirate? It's we're looking for a spellcaster. He's who's the most spellcaster looking guy?
These people looks like a nerd.
That guy. You want to be a pirate? What? I'm kind of hungry. I'm running out of money, and I've just been eating this bread. That's all I have. I was I'll buy you some food. You want to be a pirate? Sure.
That was the game. So learned a valuable lesson to never bring the 2 intimidation characters along for recruiting, because there were so many subtle threats of murder.
No murder threat. I'm you really aren't just choosing the wrong people to bring with you.
Maybe don't bring the 2 scary people.
No, it's a good idea not to. They're very murdery. We got a new player. They fit in pretty good. I think it's going to require a little bit more, just because getting used to the insanity that is Yakul.
So we're going to get him a headband, and we're going to fix him, alright?
And then you followed some leads that were piratey. Yeah.
Man got shot in the back, and his face fell into a fish tank.
And he decided to keep the fish for a pet. At least some of the characters did.
Revia has a pet piranha thing.
Yeah. It's got a taste for human flesh. Be careful.
Yeah. So, that's what's going to happen is when we go back to Port Peril, I'm going to go to Nat and be I need a charisma and intelligence headband. And I'm going to just give it to Yakul and lie to him and say it'll look really intimidating and cool on him so he can have more than 8 intelligence. Please, God.
He's so dumb. He's just so bad. Doesn't he also have an 8 charisma?
I think he has lower than 8 charisma.
That's right, he does, because he got a minus to that one.
Yeah, he has like a minus to charisma. So there's no fixing the charisma. We could at least make him not an idiot.
You can make the charisma less bad. You can make him just like, rather than really bad, you can make him just sort of annoying to
just
be
make him
around.
awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we did some investigating, and I weirdly came in handy for this one.
Honestly, it was this weird thing that I was like, I did not realize that the loss of Nat had created a huge hole in your team.
I'm gonna start probably upping some of my knowledge checks.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't get local or arcana, I think.
Yeah.
No, I have arcana. I don't get local, and there was one other one I don't get.
Well,
that
one
came
of
up.
you had local. No, actually, I don't think any of you had local. Local and history are missing.
I don't get history.
Which, unfortunately, in the piratey game are like the most important 2 knowledges to have.
Yeah.
God. And there might be a couple NPCs that know enough.
I think that's because the new character is an Arcanist. Some points can be allocated like next level, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because there was some miscommunication, and we all forgot to bring up that we need history and local.
Yeah, because like I was just like the characters don't really have it, and I was like looking at the NPCs, and some of them might have some things like Dwarf can roll maybe, but like Dwarf is just like he's memey.
I am all knowledge, basically just religion and nature, and dungeoneering.
Look, if you need local, your Dwarf can roll it with a plus 13 at least, but he doesn't have really history.
No.
Just check.
So my character is decent at probably knowing stuff about Chelix because of the religious aspect.
I gave you big bonuses for knowing about Chelix because you were there, honestly.
Yeah, I was there for an extended period of time, and my character does speak the Chelix language.
Yeah, Chilaxi. But you don't like have.
But I don't have the local or history skills.
Yeah. You also like dropped a couple of people off. Like you don't have. That they don't know a lot. So it's like really Sandra and Conkabar that you can rely on for stuff.
Yeah, because Cog and some other people are on the other
ship. Yeah. I mean, like Conkabar can roll him. He doesn't have.
He technically can roll anything. He's a bard.
He's a bard. He's best.
Does that mean he's good at it?
Local is his second best skill. He took some in engineering to know some like the stuff that's related to that. So it's like
I think the issue with local and history will clear up with the next level.
Yeah, hopefully. Because honestly, it's like one of those weird things that I didn't realize that of all the skills, like when we're playing Carrying Crown, religion is probably one of the better ones because even if it's not undead centric adventure, there's undead everywhere.
Yeah,
you know, there's going to be some showing up in some way during the adventure. So religion's kind of the top one of this. This one, I'm like, it's pirates. You have to know about other pirates and things that happened.
Part of the thing is, at least with me, anytime this is like every Pathfinder campaign I've ever played, anytime I need to roll a knowledge check, I usually just roll badly.
There was this like DC 20 knowledge check in the adventure that I was like, it's a DC 20. Someone's bound to get this, No one fucking got it, and I'm like,
we all just rolled really bad.
And I'm like, I don't know what to do at this point in time, and I'm like, I probably should have just had honestly
the thing you might want to do, is read through some of these checks and cherry pick the most vital information out of it, and don't hide that one.
Well,
because
honestly,
I know in some Pathfinder adventures they do hide some of the basic knowledge you need behind checks.
Like, I'll tell you, it was just the bad thing was just the code thing there, and I think I just got a little frustrated at that point in time, and I probably could have handled explaining it to you better, but I just forced it kind of thing.
I figured what it was as a person. My character.
I rolled so many checks to try to get it, just to be like.
There were so many NPCs And then we just went to Nat.
Well, the thing is, you were like, let's give it to the lady, and I'm like, that got me, like, flustered, because I'm like, why are you going to her? She didn't tell you to go back to you with, like, weird shit like this, and I'm, like, confused as to why you were going to the pirate lord lady. That confused me a little bit. Really, what it should have been is I should have just made her busy, so you couldn't have talked to her anyway, you know? So then, like, you might have sat on it, but also then, like, you could have been, like, maybe if you were in Port Peril to do that, I could have had Ambrose be like, why don't you check in with Nat? She might know something about it.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, because I know that, at least for me, bringing it to her was, the pirate lady was, like, a working idea, and I was gonna also suggest, hey, maybe we should ask, like, Nat or ask one of, like, Ambrose or something,
well,
if they know
when
what
when that became the standard from the group, you know, as soon as that was kind of suggested, it just floored me for a second, and I, like, you know, it's that thing of, like, sometimes on the spot you, like, you mess up. You know?
Oh no, believe me, I know that. I DM a Star Wars game.
Stuff's gonna happen. So that one.
Give us a sending stone to Nat.
Give a sending stone to Nat.
Just have a phone to Nat.
Maybe just having, like, a sending stone or something that, like, you could have picked up from Nat.
Find any weird shit to describe it.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but no, I mean, we got through all that and into the other parts of the story, and, like, you know, all the things.
Yeah, we go meet a Birdman.
Yeah, I'm gonna meet a Birdman, and that'll be exciting. Because, you know, there'll be some things with the bird.
Or you might get some character reveals from me next session if it comes. Oh, I might go over mine. Because I have backstory stuff. Because I'm technically Chilexian.
Mm-hmm.
But more from Varesia.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, like a frontier state.
Yep. So, it was some good times.
Yep.
I'm hoping the new person enjoyed it and will integrate more. I will have to eventually remember their actual person-y name, but, you know, that'll be...
I know their character is named Jacob, I think.
I think that's correct. I'm in the game. I should be able to check that. Yes, Jacob. Because I was checking stuff in there.
I haven't quite learned the new... Yeah,
Christian?
I think that's
Christian.
I think that's their name.
Yeah.
It'll take me like a couple days.
It'll take me like a month.
Yeah,
I'm bad
no,
with
that's
names.
fair.
If I'm only doing something with them once a month, that's gonna take me a while. Especially, I might be a lot better. We'll see. We had one Thursday game, right? We missed the 1 week, I think.
We did miss 1 week, I think.
Yeah, and then no, we did have both because we had
did?
That's
right. Yeah, we did have both.
Carrie had therapy.
Carrie went through therapy like immediately, and honestly, she's a better character now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One Chaos Gremlin mostly dealt with.
Yeah. The other
I don't think you can deal with Kazarin.
He's got so much Chaos Gremlin. I just don't know what
I don't think there's a solution for him.
Unfortunately, at this point in time, no. He's become like megalomaniacal. I'm not saying that right.
Yeah.
English.
He's a psychopath.
His issues of being like, you know, his delusion of grandeur and like, you know, things like that went worse.
I think I can pinpoint the moment where it went worse. When he learned he was immortal.
He's not immortal.
Well, he thinks he is.
I know. He's not. He did not get immortality. He's like, I really had to tell. The thing I decided is he's got elf lifespan. They have lifespans. Yeah. He'll live a long time. He's not immortal. He will age and die eventually.
It's that's the point, I think, where the god complex went a little out of control.
Also, I think I was gonna give him like advantage on death saves or something, you know, like to make it harder for him to die even if he gets dropped, you know. So that's all he was going to get. He's not technically immortal. He just doesn't know that. Which is hard to tell someone, you know? Like, the character's not going to know that.
Yeah.
I made
I
decisions.
just mostly assumed the weirdness that's going on with me is like I have elf lifespan or some shit.
His brother got like regeneration.
Nice.
You know, that's what he got.
Everyone's favorite goblin.
Yeah.
Who's a much better goblin, and I'd rather have that one in the party.
Yeah. I mean, he's a really nice guy. He's got his own band of ragtag adventurers he goes on adventures with, but I'm not even sure what they are. They're just defined as the band of ragtag adventurers.
I mean, when Kazran inevitably gets out of hand, Toll's just gonna hire his brother to go deal with it.
Yeah. It's gonna happen.
Go throw him into a volcano or something.
Brother, I loved you.
We were brothers.
We were brothers, brother. He's like, you idiot. Of course we were brothers. What the hell are you saying? Look, you got on the braids. Anyway. But yeah, no, that was, so the Kara got therapy, and then you, had sent 2 people in as spies.
We joined a revolution.
We joined a revolution and are spying on, like, an evil group.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do about that yet.
I mean, like,
about that. I have some dumb ideas.
I gave Joe the choice of, like, hey, this probably evil but maybe less evil person would help you out, and you are on Urborg.
There's nothing on that place that isn't evil, to be fair.
I mean, I guess there's some neutral, like, peasants.
Yeah,
just
like,
like
the most is they're neutral. It's an evil place.
I think, like, the last good thing that lived here died, and that was Windgrace, the planeswalker that was living here. Because he was, like, you know, actually, like, he probably was chaotic good, too. Like, you know, not, like, pure righteous good, but, like, you know, I'm doing the right thing, but, like, you know, it's not this shit.
What am I getting out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, sure, go help the Lich, I don't care. I'm mildly... I just want to see someone get punished so hard to the point where they learn a lesson.
I mean, like, the thing is, like, it's hard to do that, because, like, the couple of times I've tried to do punishments, it's not really worked out well, so that's why I've had to, like, you know, sidetrack things, and, like, see, like, I've managed to diffuse carry at least, so I don't have to worry about it. Diffusing carry made it work a little better.
I think, yeah, with one less mega chaos voice, I think it'll be a little more under control.
Yeah. She's a little better. I mean, like, she can still learn weird necromantic abilities. I'm like,
that's fine, though. That's not inherently a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, certainly, definitely on Dominaria, necromancy is not illegal everywhere, only in certain places.
I mean, like, culturally, she's from this place. It makes sense.
I mean, Orvada probably doesn't outlaw necromancy. They just probably just, like, don't
do it in the city.
Yeah, just don't do it in the city, you know. And, like, Talaria certainly doesn't outlaw necromancy, because they're like, it's magic, learn it.
Yeah, like, it's just a school of magic.
I mean, they had a wizard that specialized in actual magic-based genetic engineering.
Yeah.
And his research is still in Talaria. So,
I mean, the guy who founded it wasn't exactly a nice dude.
No! And Kaz is trying to become a second one of him, Urza.
Yeah, Kazran's gonna get murdered at the end of the campaign.
There's high chances of it. There's a point in time where it switched over from, like, you know, okay, we're okay, to, like, oh my god, Carrie and Kaz switched.
Yeah, Kazran's just the villain now.
I mean, it's the weird thing of, like, the horrible villains put up a good argument of, like, you've got a worse villain with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to... Definitely will get a lot easier to stop them from doing stupid things now, because, I mean, sure, Kazran's a spellcaster, he's still a goblin.
Yeah. Do you have anything on a Friday? There's a game that was supposed to be starting that some people were doing. I don't know if you guys started it, folks.
No, we're gonna have a session 0, but some last minute things came up for sale, so we're gonna have our session 1 next week instead.
Okay, makes sense. Things happen.
Yep. Yeah, we were gonna have 0, but so I had some life stuff come up.
Life stuff.
So instead, I just played video games.
That's acceptable. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I think that's it for the week then.
Yeah.
Honestly, we've been going 2 hours. I'd like to have a deeper discussion topic, but since this was a pretty like the thing is, that's the thing is, normally even like when we have a week off, we don't have so many topics even like. But this was like, it felt like a lot of really good topics for these last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's a heavy week. So we'll save a deeper discussion topic for next time. I do want to actually think about talking about. I've been really tempted with like talking about it to talk about like some Warlock stuff. With like Warlock 5e
or Lightning in here for that one.
Yeah, we really should. Yeah. Or maybe eventually hitting up that multi-classing in 5e, it really sucks topic.
I have a lot of experience with that one.
Yeah, because we talked about multi-classing in general, but, you know, that 5e multi-classing, it's on that list of, like, you know, bad things like 5e Warlock.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've gone long enough. I think it's a great place to leave off here. Thank you for joining, Momo. Do you want to take a shout out? Anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Just the games I'm in.
My schedule is I'm going to be finishing up Civ 6 game I was starting. So that's the big thing I'm going to be doing next week. That'll be 1 or 2 sessions. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to do that. Then I think I'm not sure what other games I'm going to do. I'm going to decide over the weekend. I'm going to put some other games on the schedule, but expect Buccaneers should be on schedule. Children of Wrath should be on schedule. You know, everything else should be still on schedule for a normal week. So it's kind of where we're at. Expect all the normal stuff, and I'll choose some other game to go along with Civ 6. Though the only day I know I might be busy or not doing a stream is Friday because I have an appointment related to my car. Because it turns out. There is a like a recall kind of thing on a part on my car. So I got to go to like a specific I think it's a Honda dealer because apparently my airbag unleashes when it kind of like breaks apart, unleashes horrible deadly metal chunks.
Yeah, I had to get that fixed in my car.
So I gotta go get that replaced, which means I gotta drive to a Honda dealer because there's nowhere near us. So me and my mom are gonna make a thing of that. We might go out to get a lunch maybe or something, or maybe not, or something. We have to decide because it depends on how long this takes. So that'll be Friday morning, though. We're planning on that next Friday. So I have no idea how all that's gonna go, and that's the only day I know that I'm definitely gonna have off. After that, I don't know the schedule. For those Civ 6s. So, enjoy that stuff. I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. Probably not going to stream any more time this weekend. I think I'm going to be busy tomorrow for part of the day, so I might not. If I get some extra time, I might plan for something. You know, that's kind of up in the air. Depends on if I get that extra time or not. And then, that's about it. So, okay. Join us for all the stuff in the future. So,
yeah, all the exciting, fun times.
Hey, the RPGs are usually pretty good. I mean, honestly, is the chaos that is sometimes Children of Wrath can be good.
Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it annoys me.
It depends on
mixed
the session.
bag. Yeah.
It's a mixed bag. I'm on there on that one. Anyway, bye everybody. Farewell.
Bye.